All right, my brothers and sisters in Kansas City, Missouri. Our people are always talking about stopping the violence. Stopping the violence. And it's bigger than people just putting guns down. Because people ain't going to put their, you got to have a replacement for the guns that we're trying to get these youth to put down. Now, when we did the video a little while ago on Swope Park, when we talking about facilitating the youth, if you want the youth to have new aspirations and new visions and new things like that, then there have to be an environment that they can be put in that can facilitate. So when you wonder why only it seemed like only this black on black crime problem is happening with the youth, we got all of our brothers out here, stop the violence, holding up signs, holding up fists, you know what I mean? We doing all sorts of things. But that's like putting a Band-Aid on the problem. You can't put a Band-Aid on cancer. You got to find out what's the root cause of it before you can get rid of it. And everybody talking about Black Lives Matter. See, it's one thing to talk about Black Lives Matter than for you to see an expression of whether Black lives really matter. Now, when we talk about that white people or our European counterparts, they don't have to say anything about white lives matters because we see white lives matter by what white people do with their lives, by the things that they do for their children. So in order for Black Lives Matter, Black lives don't have to start mattering to black people. And then African American people are going to have to start assuming the responsibility for themselves. You know, you can't just talk about it. Or you can't just show up on the block. You know, where somebody get killed. You know, it's time out. Candlelight vigils don't work. It's going to take some boots on the ground. It's going to take some men with vision. And then it's going to take some men with money. And it's going to take some, if the men don't have, we can't get men. We can get men with vision, but we can't get no men with money. Then guess what? Then it's going to take us to be able to connect ourselves with men that have access to money by political means. Nevertheless, the point got to be made. So it's going forward. Let me show you why no nobody had to say white lives matter. Here we are at another park. This is one block west of Truce. 1 block west of the main street. We start showing you that skating rink park that was built in Swope Park, that after they quit skating on skateboards and stuff like that, they just let it die and let it deteriorate. Meanwhile, other things pop up. Let me show you something. You see this? This is a skating rink. I've skated on it myself. The only reason why I didn't choose not to have a function at this skating rink is because of the place that it's surrounded in. You see, if the only places that we go are surrounded in communities that don't want us, when we come and we bring our roller skates and we bring our music and we bring all that, because the skating rink is geographically located in a people that don't operate like us, even though they say we're welcome to it or it's a public park, then authorities gonna come and remove you. You see that? You see that? These are European brothers. These are European children. Are European children. You see, because they got something to do with their time, that automatically decreases access to foolishness. I'll knock that call off. So, when we start talking about that, our brothers are facilitated. The European brothers are facilitated. They go and they find the money because they got connection. They connected to the people in the political arena, whatever. Those men that have vision for the next generation of children, then they go and deal with those people. They pass funding. They get the funding. Then they complete the work. And now they have a place that can facilitate their youth. You see? Their youth are facilitated. They about to get demonstrating. They about to do whatever they do. They about to do some hockey. They about to do something. Yeah, they about to do something. We got a couple of sisters out there with their skates on. Yep. Yeah, here's a hockey team. I guess they about to do some rolling. I'm gonna sit around and watch them. Yeah, they about to do some rolling. Yep. Oh yeah. I'm gonna watch for a little while. See how the sport go. See how the sport go. Yeah. But you see, that's a nice big skating rink out there. Yeah. I don't know what kind of form of hockey this is. Hey, yo, coach. Come here. Let me ask you a question. What is this, a form of hockey? But they gonna be on skates? Huh? Oh, okay. It's lacrosse. You never was good at skates, huh? Yeah, yeah. I ain't never seen the game played. I'm gonna watch for a little while. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's a skating rink in the park. You gonna tell me? You got the Power Light District. You got the Plaza. You got all these other places to go where our brothers are facilitated. You know, it's almost like this is a beautiful, wholesome, just, oh, what a wonderful world. Oh, what a beautiful world. Everybody is equal. All things matter. Oh, what a wonderful, really? I wonder what world y'all living in. And see, brothers that's in a position to do something and you don't do nothing, you don't have no right to open up your mouth. You don't have a right to criticize anything. You don't have a right to speak not one thing negative of anybody. If you yourself, you ain't doing nothing. You see this skating rink? I take a good look at it. I take a real good look at it. Look at that rink. Look how big it is. Y'all about to get down, young queens?
Yep. You already know it.
We got our young queens out here. They out here on the wheels of steel. You see? A sprinkle. But see, we need something like this of our own. Something that belongs to us. That's what brothers got to keep understanding. Listen, ain't nobody trying to be, you can't be equal with somebody that's different. A dog can't be equal with a cat. They both animals, but they can't be equal. And I understand what people mean when they say, well, you know what, we equal. Well, we should be equal in the sense that we all have a right to life and enjoy our lives. But when it comes to the things that we do and the way that we operate culturally as a people, there ain't no such thing as equal. That's why it seems like the two don't mix. That's why each one of them does what they do in their own time. You might have a sprinkle of blacks, sprinkled within the whites, and you might have a sprinkle of whites, sprinkled within the blacks. But the overall majority, they stay within their own selves not because of no type of racism or hatred, simply because they different. They do different things. They learn different things. They come from different cultures. And we got to understand that when we start asking for things, we need things that are tailor-made for us. When we want to skate, we want to center in a place in our environment that when we want to crank up our music, we're going to bring the noise. And we don't have to worry about nobody being upset. People are upset because they don't do that particular thing. But when you When you all just one family and you do the same things, you exposed to that, you know what I mean? That's how it is. So even though this is a skating rink and even though this is a public park, if it came down to the African American wanting to have a function or do something like that, even though it's a public park, but geographically it's located where the majority of the people are our European counterparts. And so we wouldn't have the freedom to really enjoy the rink and this park in the ways that we do things. And it's not that what we do is bad, it's just that we do it differently. So, example, if when we had a function at a skating rink, we know that out of 45 years of skating on a consistent basis, I would probably be able to pull together every skater, not just in Kansas City, but scattered throughout the cities in this state. There would be people that will come from Kansas City, Kansas, Wichita, Kansas, Topeka, Kansas. There would be people coming from Oklahoma, Nebraska. There would be people coming from all different places to partake in an event. But to put that event together in the way that we as African Americans do things, it will be noise. We will have to bring the noise. You're talking about we're going to bring our vendors, we're going to bring our music, and when we bring our music and we crank our music up, if it's not geographically located within the frameworks of our own environment, then it will not be acceptable, even though it's a public park. So when we start talking about Black Lives Matter, hey, words can be rejected, but your demonstration can't be denied. There ain't no demonstration if it ain't no vision. Guns ain't the number one reason why people are killing themselves and doing all this foolishness. That's not the number one reason. The number one reason is this: where there is no vision, then the people perish. Because there's no vision, there ain't nothing to look forward to. And so either you die mentally from not having nothing to look forward to, you die creatively, and then you die spiritually because spiritual people have vision. You see? But they are facilitated. This is why our European brothers don't have to worry about gun violence with their children. Because they're facilitated. And every last one of them out there on that field is building a relationship with each other. They're on the same team. That means they talk to each other on a regular basis. Well, when they do something, they go out, they play games, and they got some place to put their energy and their time. You see? That almost looks foreign to us. See? We got our young queens out there rolling. You see? I can't even release where this skating park is because of that reason. We have a lot of skaters. As soon as the skaters want to come and start skating, you know what I mean, and filling up the parking spaces, when they see all cars lined up all down the street, cars parked up on the grass and all of that, what you think gonna happen? What do you think's gonna happen? So this black on black crime and these brothers killing each other and these people talking about putting down the guns, I'm right there with you wholeheartedly. I'm wholeheartedly with you. Ready to go on the ride, on the drive through the neighborhood for the sake of peace. I'm with you honking as we drive down streets and brothers holding up signs, honk for peace. I'm with you on all of that, but no, none of those things make people put their guns down. It ain't but one thing that's gonna make these young kids put their guns down, and that is they have to be facilitated. They have to have some vision, and not talking about the ones that got the guns now, but we talking about the generation that's coming up behind them. When we can facilitate them, then they won't even be looking at guns or waiting to get a gun. If all they doing is sitting around listening to TV and rap music is the grand sum total of the things that they're exposed to and their creativity don't have nothing to do, then what they're exposed to, they're going to become. And so they can't wait to get them a gun when they get 15. because this is the only thing that they're exposed to. But if they had places to go to, and they had things that they were being exposed to, and they were being taught how to do things that not only consume the time, but it also enhances the creativity level of an individual. It deals with the imagination and the thought process. It causes somebody to now start exercising their mind and thinking about different ways that they can do this better, that they can do that better. You see, the mind is what's being totally rearranged. You can't rearrange nobody just by telling them put no gun down. You put the gun down, you got to have them something to pick up. So I just be wondering to myself that when is people going to get to the point to where they talking all of this nonsense? And I understand what they mean, but in all actuality, every life matters because God is the one that gives people life. I understand that they saying Black Lives Matter because of police killings and things of that nature. But I don't think that the phrase Black Lives Matter didn't pop up until the police killings, but they've been killing each other the same way. They're killing themselves the same way. And black lives never mattered then. Because until black lives start mattering to black people, and black people start going out of their way to collectively come together, pool their resources together, or black lives get to the point to where they start dealing with their politicians and the city officials that they going down there voting for, because this stuff don't just pop up. You see, our European counterparts, they know how to get things done. They know how to get things done. They're going to go down there and they're going to deal with their public officials, and they're going to get things passed. They're going to get money. They're going to get funding. They're going to get all of that. All we want to do is sit around and talk. When we had the same thing, if Black Lives really matter, that means that we got the same rights. We got the same rights to go down there and ask for stuff. We got the same rights to bring stuff like this to the forefront and to people's attention. We got the same rights, but because we don't, they said, well, if they don't do it, why should I? And if they don't do it, the more I got for me. So I understand, brothers, all of the issues with the gun violence and all of that. But the gun violence ain't the gun is not the issue. You see, a gun by itself can't harm nobody. It's the mindset of the individual that's handling the gun. And if you can change the mindset of the individual, then that individual will put the gun down. I don't get it, man. So I want y'all to see this. Because when you look at TV, look at the TV news today. If you think I'm wrong, you think I'm lying. And I am not a racist because I got many European brothers. I got many European brothers that understand. They see the same thing I see. They think like I think. And then they say it's a damn shame that it's like that. You see? And we got plenty of our European counterparts that have genuine motives, pure spirits, and even willing to get out there on the front lines and start taking some of the abuse with us. So this ain't about no type of racism, but this is about our responsibility as a people to get the things that we need for ourselves, because can't nobody else determine what we need. Don't nobody else determine that. So you know, there's a facilitator. And so it ain't the gun. The people perish. We perishing because there is no vision. We don't have anything to look forward to. We don't have anything to look forward to in light of entertainment. We don't have anything to look forward to in light of the educational departments, in light of school. Look at the condition that our schools are in versus the condition that other people's schools are in. You see, all of this stuff is playing a part at how the mind operates. And if you don't change the mind, there is no way in the world that you can change the people. But it's simple to change the mind. All we have to do is start facilitating our youth, giving them things to do, making something happen. You see, Black Lives Matter to our forefathers when they built what is known today as Black Wall Street. Black Lives Matter when they built the town of Rosewood. Black Lives Matter They wasn't looking for the handouts of other people. They wasn't blaming other people for the condition that they were in. They looked and said, what do we have to work with? And let's start right there. These boards don't even match, but we'll just take up all the scraps that we can find and we'll start building. We'll pool our money together and pool our resources together, and then we'll start buying the things that we need to make our town conducive to the type of people that we are. If we like to party, then we're going to make sure that we make our town conducive to what we like. We're going to have our places to where we can do that. But we want to be educated too. So we're going to make our town conducive to the things that are according to the visions that we are having. And all of these things that are not according to the visions, then they must be rejected at all costs. See, we got history. Now, people ain't worthless. And there ain't nothing wrong with our young kings out here. Even though they slaughtering each other for sport, it ain't nothing wrong with them. The only thing that's wrong with them, generation before ain't left nothing. And we ain't built nothing. And we ain't put nothing in place for them. So, you see it. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. You see what the rink, what used to be the skating rink in Swope Park. You see what it looked like today. They don't care nothing about that. You see what this skating rink looked like though, right? And you see who's occupying it, right? And you see the community that it's in, right? So if you can see all that, why you can't see what I'm talking about when it comes to Swope Park? How can you be staring the truth in the face and then allow somebody to hit you with something like racism? How is ever going to be a racist when you got the truth staring you in your face? Everything in the communities of our European counterparts have been put in place and that have been made conducive for their living. They like things quiet. They like to ride bicycles. So they park a certain way and they put lanes in the street. You see, they make things conducive to their way of living. You see? When they want to ride dune buggies, they put one on the back of their truck and then they go off to the off-road field and ride. But most of us, we can't do that. We might have access to ride a four-wheeler, but you ain't got no truck and trailer, and then you ain't got no land or property of your own off-road to go to. So it's all about facilitating. Facilitating. When our children are facilitated, then those that walk before them have something to do. You have a job to do now. You got to be the coach. You got to do the teaching. You got to do the instruction. You got to be apprenticing somebody. That's how the mind changed. Ask me how I know. I was the dude back in the 80s doing the same thing. I was the dude, wouldn't go nowhere without a pistol in my pocket. I was the dude that in a moment's notice would clack that thing and bring harm to my brother. I was the guy that did that. I was the guy standing on the corner selling the dollar joints. I was that guy, but I had never been exposed to anything else. But see, when somebody come into your life, I had somebody come into my life, you know. If it wasn't for that brother Greg Carter came into my life and start exposing me to things that I had never seen before, places I had never been before. I had never been to the plaza in my life until he took me over there to a restaurant to eat. And it was like, wow. These things that I was being exposed to made me want to put the gun down, made me want to put the sack down, because it showed me another part of life that I had never knew existed, and it was within my reach, and I could have it if I wanted it. If it can happen with me, it can happen with anybody. And it shall happen with many brothers. I had never been to Worlds of Fun in my life, the amusement park. Because the amusement park was way far out of the neighborhood. And we had never even been outside of the neighborhood. So what did we know? Besides crap shooting, besides drinking, besides sitting around with the big boom box pop locking, besides roller skating. Roller skating was the farthest place that we went. And then we back to the hood. We didn't have anything else to do. But there were many more of the children. It was baseball diamonds around. It was the boys club around. It was the YMC around. Some of the youth liked to swim. We had swimming pools in the neighborhood. Now it's nothing in the neighborhood. Everything is dried up. And where there is no vision, the people will perish on their own. So if we're gonna talk about getting these young brothers to put the guns down, then we best have a plan and we best have a vision as to how we're gonna change the mind. Because unless the mind change, ain't nobody putting no guns down. Because if the mind is in a place to where it feels like the only way it can be protected is that it have to be armed, if you don't change that part of the thinking, ain't gonna be no putting no guns down. It just ain't gonna happen. It's unrealistic. It's lofty. It's a lofty expectation. It is a form of insanity. Because problems don't go away with words and things don't change with words. So you know, it's something, man. So you do this for me tonight. I don't care what city you're in, what state you're in. When you look at the local news, it will always start off with the crime and the murder and the things like that that's happening. And most times when those murders and stuff happen, they put the picture of the black guy or the picture of the Hispanic guy up there. They put his picture up there. And you know what? Before the news goes off, and toward the end of the news, they start the news with the worst kind of people. And then they end the news with the best kind of people. They'll show you about some little European girl that made a lemonade stand and was selling somebody lemonade. Or they'll show you a European, somebody with their dog, and their dog was turning flips. And they applaud that like that is great news. And we don't understand that it's a psychological warfare and conditioning attacking the thought process of the people that are viewing it. Watch. I know what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to show y'all that. I had to be balanced with the videos. Black lives really gonna matter? Then guess what? Black lives gonna have to have the same things that we need to facilitate our youth that the white lives have to facilitate their youth. And if you're gonna take all of our stuff away, let's take this skating rink away. Let's take those helmets away. Let's take those equipments away. Let's take all of these different soccer stadiums and baseball diamonds. You see, when we have stuff all the way down there, right in the 18th and Vine district, nobody even speak of it. But I'm telling you, Greg Center and that stuff been there for a long time since I was a kid. I ain't never known them to ever do anything to Parade Park. And when the Royals won the championship, that baseball player donated $1 million to make a professionalized stadium at Parade Park. But do you think it was done to facilitate the youth of that community? Oh no, I don't think so. So y'all better wake up and smell the coffee or go back to sleep.